Hi everyone, I'm Karashma. I'm the founder and instructor in Inner Freedom, the School for Reengineering Your Consciousness. And today I thought of connecting with you all to give you a little update about what's really going on energetically across the globe and in the lives of each one of us, including you and I, when we are talking about the corona scare. While corona virus itself is something that we should all do our best to avoid its transmission, it is important for us that despite the fact that you and I might not be directly affected by it, there is a lot of anxiety, fear, and panic which has been created amongst each one of us. The world is doing its best to combat the spread of this deadly disease and the infection thereof. But understand how is it affecting you. Sitting in the house, if you are feeling anxious about it, sitting in the house with least contact with the external world, if you're feeling some kind of a fear being surfaced, even that fear be as much as what will I really be doing sitting at home? I can step out and what will I be doing when my husband is in the house, when my kids are not going to school? How will I be managing all of that? So, even all those triggers are essentially coming out of some unhealed aspect of our own existence. Understand that as each one of us go through our own growth journey, we are experiencing some of these growth patterns in our own lives, and how those growth patterns really work, if you may. So once we come across a situation wherein which has something in us which remains unhealed, we tend to attract certain experiences by the virtue of law of attraction, because the soul knows that my growth, my evolution typically lies on those experiences which I'm trying to resist as well. So, as much as we come across those experiences, we feel it is difficult for us to tide over those experiences. But as time passes, as we are able to become accustomed to those changes, we are also able to find at the end of the tunnel, once that particular experience is over, we realize that we've come a long way. We realize that there had been a lot of growth in us. We realize that that experience had served us in some shape or form and has made us better than what we were earlier. It has made us a better version of ourselves. And just as we go through our own patterns and our own growth cycle after every particular period of time, till the time we learn to imbibe the wisdom that those experiences are bringing to us, till the time we are able to imbibe the lessons that those experiences are building to us, and learn those lessons so that we are able to inculcate and absorb those lessons as a part of our own personal wisdom, those experiences keep on repeating. Similarly, the earth also goes through its own challenges. Earth is not only a planet, it is not dead, it is alive. It has its own energies, it has its own growth patterns, it has its own karmic evolution going through. So, when we are going through all of those evolutions, the earth is also going through its own learning, its own growth. And when it is enough for earth to learn through those experiences, goes through a reset as well. So I would urge each one of you to consider this particular time to be a time when earth is also purging off. And what happens when we are able to shed off something old which is no longer serving us? It creates space for something new. It creates space for something better, because those previous energetic vibrations has been disposed of, they're no longer serving us, and we clear that energetic vibration. And then once the space is being created, we absorb newer learnings, newer experiences, and then we evolve through those experiences. So instead of giving up all on those fears, the fears that are being triggering up by the cancellation of online deliveries, by the cancellation of your office, by learning to confine into a house, I'll give you an example. There was one of my students who connected with me yesterday. She said, it's so difficult for me to stay in the house. And I asked her, why? You are happy staying in the house. You used to be happy staying in the house. And now, when this trigger is there that you've got to officially stay in the house, why is it difficult for you? And she said, it's so difficult to sit all by yourself. And that's another scare. People don't realize that that's kind of a scare where we are not willing to face our own selves. We're so much disconnected with our own being that finding time to just sit with ourselves and observe what's really going on within becomes challenging, because we've been so much not in harmony, not in sync with our own selves. And this creates more chaos because we are so disintegrated in our own existence. So I urge each one of you in these particular times to rather not give into fear. Instead, be more mindful of what's triggering up for you. Be more mindful of understanding how those fears are serving you. Be more mindful of what is that fear about. And once you're able to absorb and learn those experiences, it is going to be easier for you to navigate through the current times and understand that those periods of uncertainties, those experiences of uncertainties that are coming in, that what if happens, what if then happens, what if then happens, it's easier for us to navigate because we know that we are actually coming out of not from the corona scare per se, but because of our own unhealed space, which is not yet healed because of childhood experiences or societal conditioning, or perhaps even from our past life experiences. But those experiences are actually being now bouting out because we are being triggered because of the corona scare. So don't give in to corona scare is what I all urge you to, and rather be mindful. Sit with yourself. This is the best time to meditate on